Nation. I'm Rock Var here on Var Nation, talking about DC Universe Online. This is more of just a community discussion. I'd realized that it's been a long time playing the game. The game's been out for a long time. I've been doing the channel dedicated to the game for a little while. I don't know that I've ever made a video about just, why it is that I like DC Universe Online and what keeps me coming back to this game. So I thought now is as good a time as any to come on here and talk to you guys about that and just kind of, I guess, relive what it is that we're all here for. Pardon the shakiness of the camera. My laptop right now is actually sitting on my belly. It's belly cam on Var Nation, so that's what happens. It's probably going to be bouncing around and everything. But my wife and I started playing DC Universe Online pretty much at launch. This game had been a lifestyle that we had been wanting for a long time. We were comic book fans going way back. It was something that we did together. We collected comics, anything DC comics. We weren't so much Marvel. We liked Marvel, but it wasn't a big thing for us. Mostly what we were into were the DC comics, TV shows, cartoons, you name it, action figures. We collected it. We had a house full of it. Some people collect things and they have like a room or they have a cabinet or something like that. We had an entire house, 3-bedroom house, lined from one end to the other with comic book memorabilia, action figures. Just imagine the most kick-ass comic book store that you've ever been in, and it was our house. That's where we lived, Lyda and I, and we basically lived as much as we could in DC Comics. It didn't really start, but our obsession with DC Comics was pretty much heightened with Smallville. We were huge Smallville fans. We never missed an episode. It was a thing for us to sit down for Smallville and whatever show was after it, which was normally Supernatural for a long time anyway, and we would watch those two shows, and that was our highlight of our week, really, besides going to the comic book store on Saturday morning or Sunday afternoon or whenever it was and purchasing, whatever books came out that week along with whatever action figures had come out that week. And we used to basically sit around. This was when, obviously, a lot of you remember, if you were in our age bracket there, where Smallville was a thing. There wasn't much else DC on at the time. There was really no DC TV at that point, and so you had to make with what you could. So we spent a lot of time on forums, Krypton site, and just kind of living with our geek friends that way. And then we were sitting at home one day and we saw a commercial kind of out of the blue for DC Universe Online on TV that it was coming out. And at that point, we did not have a PlayStation 3. It was only on the console. It was only going to be on PS3. Or you could do PC. We had a really shitty laptop. We went out, we got the game, we downloaded it. We played it as much as we could on the shitty laptop, which wasn't very much. But it was still awesome. And it was like, from the start, it was the best game that either one of us had ever played. It had been pretty much what we had wanted out of a game our entire lives. Finally came to fruition with DC Universe Online. It was with all of our favorite characters. It was in our favorite world. Stuff was going on in the game that was going on DC TV, or had gone on recently in the comics. And it was a hell of a game to play. Now, don't get me wrong, it was definitely not it was enjoyable, but it was not easy. There was a lot of grind to it. It was a much more difficult game to level up in than what you experience now when you log into DCUO. But it was the first game we ever got to play where we could actually be in the world that we wanted to be in. Doing missions with Superman, doing missions against Lex Luthor, fighting alongside the Justice League, fighting Doomsday alongside the Justice League. Just some of the stuff that we had hoped and dreamed and read about, and said, hey, wouldn't, we'd seen all of the Justice League cartoons, and so it was like the first time we got to see these characters, a lot of times voiced by the same actors that were in the Justice League cartoons. So it was like we were really playing with our family that we had, kind of grown up with. Our Wonder Woman was there. One of our Supermen was there. The list goes on. And so DCUO just gave us the opportunity to play inside that world. And at first, that's all it was about for us. We loved that aspect of it. We were big on styles and character creation, and we wanted to have backstories. We had, would come up with elaborate backstories for our characters. We had ambitions of making like comic books using our characters, which still might happen on the channel. The Adventures of Rockvar, still frame or something. That still could happen. I would love to get into animation or something. I just don't think that I necessarily have that skill, but that was initially what drew us to the game. And once we got in the game and once we started playing it, obviously if you want to do any of the cool stuff and go on any of the cool missions, you have to be able to. It's not like any other game at the time or any other game I've played where you could just pop in a cheat code, jump in there and say, okay, well, today I'm going to do this regardless of my skill level. I'm going to complete it and it's going to be cool. I'm going to see the visual effects and all that good stuff. With DCUO, if you didn't do the grind and you couldn't hang in the mission, you're not going to see the cool stuff that you wanted to see. Or you're going to jump into raids like we probably did when we first started out. Everybody did, not realizing that you had jobs to do and stuff like that in there, and just jump into a raid and you're strolling through being like, oh look, it's Lex Luthor, ha 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 ha. Meanwhile your entire team's getting killed. So you learn as you go. So you start to realize, hey, if I want to see any of this cool stuff that I'm playing this game about, I'm going to have to actually learn to play the game. And so then that's what happens, and then that becomes an obsession, and doing your job becomes an obsession, and playing your role becomes an obsession, getting better at it becomes an obsession. The whole MMO aspect of it kicks in, and boom, you're chasing the carrot on a stick, and I am a carrot chaser by nature. So then that becomes part of it too. But it really, for us, still boils down to the fact that I could jump in any video game right now and have combat, have different kinds of combat, use weapons, blah blah blah. But this is the game that's rooted in DC, in the DC world, and that's why I will always be here. I will always be a part of it, and I will always enjoy it for as long as it lasts, because the fact that DC Comics has so much going on right now with the movies, the stuff they are doing right now in the comics, the animated movies. They're doing their own streaming service right now, with new shows and new stuff coming up there, as well as just all the old movies and stuff that you can catch in the old TV shows. You're going to be able to pay for it just like similar to Netflix, only for DC. This is a time when I want to be a part of DC Universe Online, probably more than any in its past. Even though it's been such an awesome game up to this point, this is the time that DC Comics is really blowing up. And this is the time when money is going to be getting thrown around, promotions that are getting done, there's a lot of cross promotion, I guess is what I'm getting at. I've never seen DC Comics more interested in promoting their various brands. I see them talking about DCUO quite a bit, the DC TV they're a big part of. It's just like, everything is connected now, and everything is like a family of DC, and we have the opportunity to be a big part of it, because this game allows players to be a big part of the game. This isn't like a game where you pick it up and you take it home and you play it by yourself. You sit in your room for hours or years in the dark playing this game, being like, I don't know anything or anybody. But DC Universe Online is a community. This is a game where you know, you're with people, you're communicating with people, you're playing as a team, you're learning how to play as a team with strangers on a daily basis, and sometimes, a lot of times, with friends. But you know, we have lifelong friends that we've made from playing this game. But also the devs are part of the game and part of the community, and they communicate, you know, through Twitter, through YouTube, through Twitch. This is a time when basically they treat us all like family. They ask us for our input. They use a lot of our ideas. They incorporate a lot of things that players want to see in the game. I mean, this is, in my opinion, this game is at peak and peaking still. Like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't use the word at peak. I don't think it's ever really going to peak. I think that the game's just going to continue and continue to grow, and we've got a creative team here that's evolved with the game, and they just continue to make this game better and better. So that's why we still play DCUO. That's why we still have a YouTube channel dedicated to this game. That's why, you know, if for some reason there's let down here and there, you know, we feel let down here and there by something that's come out or hasn't come out, or, you know, what have you, that's why we keep the faith, because we've been on this ride for a long time. I love seeing people who have been playing for a couple of years being like, DCUO's dead, DCUO's dying. I don't love to see them do that, but it's just comical to me, because, you know, the game's probably older than you are. Probably not, but pretty soon the game will be going to junior high, and a lot of games don't do that. It won't be junior high quite yet, but we still got a few years before that. You got to cherish these years. They go by so fast. But anyway, that is why we continue to play DCUO and support it, and we want to know why you continue to play DCUO and support it. So make your own video, post in the chat, start a conversation on Twitter at @var_nation, or include DC Universe Online at DCUO on Twitter, and let us know, why do you still play DCUO? Why DCUO? Why do you still support this game? Do you still love it? Do you just play it? Did you ever play it? Do you care? Would you rather me just end this video now? Which is what's happening. But yeah, I'm interested in your input, so let us know. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This is our hopes and dreams right here. Subscribe, share, like this video if you can, please. And we will see you on the next one. I'm Rock Var for Var Nation News. But this really isn't news, so I'm just Rock Var saying play on.